How's it going, Basshead family? Today's video, we have a review on the CT Sounds dual 8-inch loaded in closures. A little while back, we did their 12-inch version of the loaded enclosure. It did pretty good, so excited to try out a little bit different setup. Y'all know we're going to run all the tests, see what this thing can do, see how it sounds. Let's get into it. Now, right now over at ctsounds.com, this fella right here retails for $219. Not a bad price for two decent 8s and a nice looking box. Now, a couple specs on this guy right here. We have a MDF box with the nice carpet. We have a kerf port, 800 watts RMS. This box is tuned to about 39 hertz and around 1.7 cubic feet. We have two dual voice coil 4 ohm subs. They are wired down to a final impedance of 1 ohm at the terminal. Pretty much everybody these days is running a nice 1 ohm stable amp. So it's nice that these are wired nice and low so you can get every bit of power out of that you can. Overall, it is a nice build. They do double baffle the front plate. They use 12 gauge OFC wire. These subs are not just screwed in, they do actually use metal inserts. You'll see in the last video we pulled out the 12. In these things, they do solder all the wire connections, so everything nice and secure. Don't have to worry about anything jiggling loose. We have 8 gauge terminals, which is plenty big for what you would need for this setup. And overall, just a nice looking box. Now, I know a lot of people are, of course, going to compare these to the Scar loaded setups since they are similar priced and similar spec'd. One kind of neat thing about this, the box actually is a little bit different size than the Scarbox. Should, you be fitting this into a tight place, that could, of course, be a factor to whether or not you get this or the Scar one. Down here, here's the Scar 8-inch box. Of course, it has the port in the middle as opposed to the end, and overall, just a little bit different. For dimensions, y'all, this box is 25 inches wide, about 18 inches deep at the bottom, 16 inches deep at the top, and 11 inches high. Here is a quick comparison for y'all, just in case you were wondering. One difference, the Scarbox does have terminals on each side. Just have one terminal. These are already internally wired up. Looks like the Scarbox is a teeny bit taller, but the CT Sounds box is just a little bit deeper. Now, guys, I mentioned this in the last CT Sounds video, but I am debating on getting one of the 12-inch SDR Scar boxes and then doing a head-to-head comparison with the CT Sounds Tropo box. They're both really close to the same price, similar specs. I think that'd be really neat just to run them both head-to-head, see which does better, see which lasts longer, all that kind of stuff. If you'd like to see that, guys, let me know. Okay, guys, we have this thing hooked up in the truck. Should be a good setup for it. First thing you'll notice, this thing is really small. Doesn't take up much space at all, guys, which is super, super nice. Okay, I've had this guy in here over the weekend. Had to take a pretty good little road trip. So I got to play it for a couple hours over the weekend. And it did fine. Seems to be broken in just fine. So let's go ahead, play some music for y'all. So testing this thing out, we've got it ran off of a 5,000 watt amp. Obviously, we're not pushing it to the full potential of the amp. But point is, hey, we are pushing it pretty hard. Video, of course, doesn't do any of this stuff justice whatsoever. Obviously, being 2 8s as opposed to a big 12 or 2 big 12s or the 2 18s I got in the other car. Obviously, one sounds a lot quieter. Two, guys, does not push nearly as much air. In these videos, what you're really seeing here is all the air moving and the air rattling, you know, stuff in the car. Harder to pick up the actual true bass frequencies on the video. So having a system like this, definitely a lot less windy, a lot less stuff rattling. Now, in my opinion, if you want a good little system set up, ready to go, that does actually sound really good, has some really nice just overall bass, and again, doesn't take up much space, that is what something like this is great for. Not going to rattle your car, not going to do anything crazy like that, which, hey, does help out with kind of that overall quality. And these things do sound really good, you know, playing normal everyday music that you would normally play with subs. Your normal rap, R&B, even some country that has some nice bass in it. These things sound pretty good. Now, of course, if we're going to play stuff super, super low, I mean, it works, but definitely not designed for that, not tuned for that necessarily. And you're only going to get so much out of 2 kind of cheaper 8s anyway. But hey, if you're wanting to do that, guys, I mean, you're definitely going to be going with a different setup anyway. All right, guys, we got the power dyno hooked up here, of course, SMD AMM1. It's going to play a little bits of songs, just kind of see what kind of power goes through these things. These things super efficient. They don't really need much power to get going. So on the one hand, hey, that's a good thing. Getting something like this is probably gonna be running on stock electrical. Be a 500 or 1,000 watt amp. Probably do just perfect for this thing. Okay, next up, got the dB meter hooked up on the dash. Let's see how loud we can get this thing. It's definitely not gonna be loud, guys. But hey, might as well at least see what we get. All right, 35 hertz. Woo! Push those things there, 3,287 watts. And we did break up into that 130. All right, y'all, 40 hertz. 2,948 watts. And again, 130.7. 129.5. Okay, 45 hertz. So power is going down. 2,261 watts. But score went up, y'all. 132.3. Okay, just for the heck of it, let's try 50 hertz just to see what it does. Ohms rising, power going down. 1,554 watts. Still though, a 132.1. There you have it, y'all. Okay, dB score, obviously compared to most of the other stuff I do, super, super quiet. That being said, y'all, the system that we got in there, definitely not a dB system whatsoever. Overall things I like about this, one, overall build quality seems really nice. I love the inserts, love the carpeting. I love that they solder the connections and they use nice wire. I love that these subs are super efficient, nice and soft. Don't need a big old amp to really get these things moving. Once again, great if you have stock electrical and a smaller amp. And three, just overall, they do sound good. I've enjoyed having them in the truck. Even though this truck is like actually really pretty loud, they sound great driving on the highway, driving around the back roads, whatever I'm doing. Just gives a nice little bit of thump just to fill in the sound and give me just kind of more dynamic music. And I love it. So overall, for a little everyday sub, I'm happy with it. Downsides, one, being 2 8s. 8s just don't seem to hit those lower frequencies like a 12 would. And in a lot of cases, for around $200, you probably could get a decent 12 in a box, as opposed to this that could outperform it and might, you know, play some of those lows a little better. Just might do some other stuff a little bit better. Of course, that being said, if you need 8, if you need that really thin box, this might be the option you need to go with. Okay, y'all, I appreciate y'all so much. Appreciate CT Sounds for sending me some of this stuff to check out and review for y'all. We have, of course, a link to CT Sounds in the description below, should you want to go check out this sub or something else they have on their website. Like I said, super appreciate y'all, guys. Stay tuned for the next video. Remember, as always, keep basing on.